In the coming weeks, you're going to be hearing all about how AI is ruining gaming. You probably already know about Xbox's real-time AI-generated gameplay. A bit of old news, but I'm expecting it to pop up again soon in some shape or form. And I'm sure you're already aware of things like Yves Guillemot, the boss of Ubisoft, saying he believes generative AI is as big a revolution for games as the jump we seen to 3D during the 90s. Or how about the AI-generated image that supposedly slipped through their review process during the final build of their upcoming city builder? Oh, I'm sure it just slipped through the cracks, and this mistake being made public isn't any form of, predictive programming at all. It's not like games media hasn't been softening us up to the idea of AI replacing large portions of the development process altogether. I'm sure Microsoft laying off 9,000 employees in the recent reports of the next Halo game, the remake of Combat Evolved, heavily using generative AI. I'm sure it wasn't part of their big push in what seems to be an agenda sweeping the entire AAA games industry. I'm sure it will only be used as a tool to speed up development and help the rest of their studios that they definitely don't plan to shutter completely in the next 5 years. But wouldn't it be crazy? And then you have Black Ops 7. Oh, how the average gamer loves him some Call of Duty. Probably completely oblivious to the AI assets that have been used in games since Black Ops 6 and beyond. Sure, you're gonna hear a lot about how AI is ruining gaming, but I don't think you're going to get the full picture. You'll hear about Xbox's Copilot, and you'll see them using more and more generative AI and Game Pass. More and more companies will be going all in on AI infrastructure. And all while this is happening, you'll get the news, but you'll only hear about the things they want you to hear about. That's how predictive programming works. They're not going to tell you about rising energy prices. They're not going to tell you about the possibility of AI data centers causing regional blackouts throughout the country. They're not going to tell you what these AI data centers are actually for, because they already have. It's just that enough time has passed to where you just don't remember them telling you. They won't tell you that these data centers will be used to store your digital ID and everything else about you. I mean everything from your health records to what you ate this morning, including all of your banking information and your digital currency. And if you're still with me, this is the part of the video that can be a little overwhelming for the average person. Usually waved away as conspiracy theory. Because that digital currency, tied to your digital identity, well, it'll be stored within a blockchain. And not on your phone. No, this digital identity is going to be inside of you. Again, like I said, they already told you, but jokingly, so you don't take them too seriously.
Meanwhile, if you're worried you are beginning to understand too much about the world, good news. There's a plan to put Bitcoin in mouse DNA with a genetically engineered virus. Okay, here's the plan. As you may know, a Bitcoin wallet can only be accessed using its private key. So they will buy some Bitcoin, then tie the mouse's value to that Bitcoin by editing the mouse's genetic code to carry the private key that controls the Bitcoins. This manipulation will result in genetically engineering the world's first douche mouse.
Isn't that just funny? Notice how he emphasizes plan with a genetically engineered virus. Plandemic, anybody? Did any of you take that jab when we were all getting paid to stay home? Chances are you probably already opted into digital ID and you don't even know it. This is all for entertainment purposes, by the way. Everything I'm saying is completely made up, and no one should take me serious. Wink wink. So talks about AI ruining gaming has been making its rounds, and you'll hear plenty of people complaining about it, about how AAA gaming has already been slop, and how it started going downhill 10 years ago. They'll talk about the broken, buggy launches and how games have become so expensive. It's like we're being priced out of the market, right? Meanwhile, console prices are going up, GPU prices are skyrocketing. I'm sure it has nothing to do with them wanting to transition to complete digital cloud-based platforms. where you can't so much as pirate a game anymore, where they dictate what games you can and cannot play. Remember things like DEI, woke ideology, ugly character design, the stuff that the chud gamers were all complaining about? It was almost like these publishers were self-sabotaging when they kept injecting this stuff into their games, whether or not it met sales expectations. But if you're familiar with the Hegelian dialectic, you probably already know it's problem, reaction, solution. The problem is all of these games being slop. They're gauging the reaction from the consumer. The solution is that human developers are all incompetent and that we should embrace generative AI. Go ahead and call me a conspiracy theorist again. I'll go ahead and keep making my predictions just like I always do. Speaking of which, if you haven't clicked off this video yet, leaving a comment on why I'm a whack job before you do, let's roll the clip.
Did you really think that civilians would be granted unrestricted access to such powerful military weapons forever?
Military weapons. Are you implying that this technology was created by the government?
Of course it was. This AI technology has been used by the intelligence agencies to warp the public's perception of reality for years. All in the name of national security, of course.
But why would they suddenly make the tech public and let everyone start using it?
Why would we indeed, Raiden?
What? What in the hell are you?
Your question is irrelevant. By creating a new problem, we can cultivate a desired reaction to it in order to manufacture consent for our preferred solutions. In short, it's justification for a war.
A war? On who or what?
A war on misinformation. By arming the public with these AI weapons, everyone becomes a potential enemy combatant. Then we will have justification for unprecedented security measures. It all comes down to confusion and identity, Raiden.
Identity?
Identity. This AI technology is Pandora's box. Pretty soon the internet will be mired in total illusion. Perfect AI speech, audio, and video synthesis will drown out reality. Then AI bots will flood social media. No one will be able to tell the difference between interacting with an AI machine or a real human online. Even telephone calls will become totally untrustworthy. That is when we will present our solution. Mandatory digital identity verification for all humans at all times. The only way to ensure that you're dealing with a real flesh and blood human being and not an AI-generated mirage.
But why?
Total information control. For too long, the internet has acted as a double-edged sword. Its potential for anonymous user activity allows anyone at all to spread any thoughts, ideas, or information patterns that they please with impunity. State secrets, dangerous ideas, ludicrous conspiracy theories, misinformation, and disinformation. Until now, there has been no easy solution to this problem. Our digital identity platform will finally put an end to anonymity online. It will allow us to trace misinformation and other dangerous communications to its source and exact appropriate justice.
That's crap! I won't go along with it, and others will resist.
You won't have a choice, Raiden. Do you think your bank is willing to risk doing business with an artificial human instead of a real one? Our digital identity platform will be required not only to access web services, but to pay for your internet connection in the first place.
You can't just censor the entire internet because of a new software technology. Who are you to define what's misinformation anyways?
That sounds like something a misinformation terrorist would say. Controlling the output of generative AI technology is simple. We will create context for its use. First, we will censor any use related to social taboos. Then we will censor anything else that we desire. If anyone complains, we will accuse them of wanting to engage in or promote social taboos.
That's what it means to create context.
We will corral the use of AI by making appeals to bias, ethics, and copyright laws. You will still have access to generative AI in some form, but it will be crippled, limited, controlled, and it will be monitored. Anything that you generate will be cryptographically signed with your digital ID, so that its provenance can be ascertained if it's later deemed to be problematic.
What gives you the right to control what people can do with their computers?
The public at large will give us that right, because they will be desperate for a solution to the problem we created. They will eagerly give us the keys to the castle. Then, we alone will define what is fiction and what is reality, what is human and what is machine. After letting you get a brief taste of our power, We will reclaim our monopoly on misinformation and put an end to misuse of the internet once and for all.
You won't get away with this.
It is probable that we will.
Remember, my dudes, it wasn't a manual, it was a warning. And right now, AI isn't being built just to ruin gaming. It's being built to replace all art. It's being built to replace human oversight. It's being built to raise your children, to replace companionship. It's being built to replace reality. It's being built to replace you. Now, we talked about art, but what do I mean by human oversight?
It is on Christian news and what is happening in the world today. China just signed a $37 million deal to deploy industrial-grade humanoid robots at real border crossings. And these aren't just demo robots. These are the Walker S2 humanoids. They are built for 24/7 operation with automatic battery swapping. That's right. They can take their own battery pack out, swap it out with zero downtime. Their job is for crowd control, inspections, logistics, guiding travelers, surveillance, and government-level enforcement. This is only one of many rollouts because China is expanding on what they call embodied AI across factories, public places, and even security. These robots don't tire, they don't question orders, and they do not have a conscience. Experts are even warning that this is the foundation of an AI-run enforcement system to replace human oversight. I want to give you relevant Christian news, not to scare you or put fear in you, but to warn you and to give an awareness of what is happening in the world today. If you feel the same way, please.
Do you think a robot cares about de-escalation? Do you think a robot would think twice about pulling the trigger? Do you think a robot would use the correct judgment, have any type of morality when it comes to law enforcement? But who knows? Maybe they will. Maybe they'll be more efficient at catching criminals. Maybe they'll be programmed in such a way not to harm humans. But how do you feel about AI being used to raise your children? To create that companionship? They've really been trying to soften us up to the idea of having relationships with AI.
None of you realize how weird this is about to get. If you couldn't tell what was going on in that clip, I will explain it. But let me say, we are the last generation for which the stuff in our house is not alive. This is a prototype lamp made by Apple that has AI, but doesn't just let it respond to voice commands. This AI in this machine lets it get sad when you disagree with it. If you set an alarm for it to remind you to drink water while you're working, it won't just sound a tone, it will nudge your water glass to you using its lamp snout. When you play music in the kitchen while cooking, it will dance along to the songs. I am telling you right now, when it comes to AI for the average person, this is where the money is. It does not take much at all to convince us that an inanimate object is alive. If you just stick googly eyes on a Roomba, most of us will get upset if a guest kicks it. But the next generation of children will be raised in homes in which they will treat many objects as members of the family. Ask all the parents who bought Moxie, an AI-powered toy that then went dark when the company went out of business, and then had to talk to their kids, not like a toy had stopped working, but like a pet had died. I am dead serious when I say that most of the people watching this video will live long enough to have an argument with your car. You are going to feel some measurable amount of distress because you think your refrigerator is mad at you. You will absolutely know someone whose best friend is their lamp. And all of these will be available for a one-time purchase to get the object, but to keep it alive, that will be a subscription.
Sure, AI voice lines in games like Arc Raiders might seem harmless, and you know what? It isn't the worst thing ever. But we should at least have an idea of what we're choosing to engage with. That's why things like Steam forcing disclosure if your game is using AI and describe how it's being used, so when you click on a video game on that store page, you know whether or not the game includes AI assets. That's something I find extremely important. But it's not just the gaming industry. You see, these algorithms, they like to place us in certain bubbles to the point where we're just siloed off to the rest of the world. For some of us who watch gaming content on YouTube, this might be your only world. Maybe the only thing you see in your recommended might be politics. Remember, they want you to engage with both extremes of the left-right paradigm, to get you angry, to get you emotional, to give you a call for action, go out and vote, give you an illusion of choice. And it's the same in the gaming space. AAA studios, they just don't know how to make games anymore, not like they used to, and it's just so expensive. But what if there was a cheaper and more efficient way to deliver value to the consumer? Oh, I know, just use AI oversight throughout the entire development process. Make gaming subscriptions the only way you can play. Hell, make it about the climate. Create a bunch of propaganda on how digital gaming lowers our carbon footprint. Just like how all these land grabs freeing up space to build out smart cities and restricting our access to travel lowers our carbon footprint. Sound like a familiar political talking point to you? A new study has found that buying physical copies of games is 100 times more carbon intensive than buying the digital version. Although cloud-based gaming can be detrimental as a result of its need for continuous access to energy-hungry data servers, we also cannot neglect the continued impact of manufacturing and packaging physical video games. Ultimately, downloading a digital copy imposes emissions linked to electricity use at home, as well as the energy use of the concerned data center. But it does not have the same impact as the emissions created by the industry in terms of landfill and excessive waste, which are primarily still accounted for by physical consoles and hard disk copies of games. As a whole, physical video games may still be less carbon intensive than their digital counterparts, but their ultimate impact should not be underestimated. The report highlighted that the extraction of rare earth metals and plastics during the production of physical discs requires high energy usage and can deplete already finite water resources. Oh, you mean like the water resources that tech billionaires are depleting by buying up all of this farmland to build up AI data centers? Keep calling me a conspiracy theorist, and I'll keep showing you the receipts. But remember, this was all for entertainment purposes.
You want the function, you want the service, right? Why you want to own a cell phone if you can just lease it? And if you lease, why shouldn't you lease your refrigerator or your washing machine or your dishwasher, or why do you want to own it?
Well, because historically the only people who couldn't own anything were serfs and slaves. Their lives were controlled precisely because they had nothing that was truly theirs. Now, I know that you're trying to hawk this circular economy as convenient and sustainable, but ownership has always been one of the clearest markers of personal freedom. If you lease everything, it means everything that you rely on can be switched off. If you own nothing, you can never build wealth. That's not sustainability, that's dependency. It's handing the keys of everyday life to corporations who want a customer for life with lifelong rental payments. I don't think so.
You know, I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities, the bonds, across the board.
Tokenization, programmable assets, all assets across the board. Basically a permanent digital list of everything you own, where the government or companies can tax it, track it, and control it. With programmable assets, tax can become automatic, taken straight out of your CBDC wallet. Carbon charges, extra fees for anything they decide isn't sustainable. And programmable ownership means the system can set the rules, like you can't sell your car past 2030. You can't transfer your house unless you pay for certain upgrades. Your land isn't yours unless you follow whatever new rules they bring in. So then ownership becomes conditional. You don't fully own anything. You own it only if you follow their terms. Older things become non-compliant or unsellable. The government wouldn't need to ban petrol cars or older homes. They could simply block the transfer of them. Suddenly your property becomes worthless unless you pay for whatever upgrades they demand. And if people can't afford the upgrades, that's when the big corporations, the BlackRocks of the world, swoop in and buy it all up on the cheap. Could this be why Larry Fink is such a huge fan of tokenization?
If you can get people to share a car, you can take out, a lot of cars in the streets. The interesting thing about technology is that it makes sharing easy and fun and not annoying.
Now this one's a great idea. Sharing. I love it. I've always wanted to fly in a private jet. I mean, I would assume that we'll be sharing the private jets, the supercars, the yachts and the villas, right? Oh no, I forgot. It's rules for thee and not for me. The people who are actively trying to own everything are trying to convince you that you should own nothing and just share it instead. Just remember, none of this is possible without digital ID and CBDCs. All we have to do is say no.